All right, here we go. Day 19. Here we are. This is day 19 of the 31-day individuation process for the month of October. And today's question is, what do I need to change about myself for myself so that I can be more of myself for myself? That's probably not how the question was arranged, but I'm just going to say it that way. This is basically, again, all about bringing the awareness, the energy, the intention back to the self. Because, of course, individuation is all about focusing on the self. Um, yeah, what would you need to change about yourself in order to, bring all of that back? Because, you know, this is really all in consideration in regards to the self. That's what this is. So, if you can look at yourself from the lens of, no distortion, not, like what everyone else thinks about it, what everyone else wants, right? Because a lot of people, including myself, I've been there, a lot of people are looking at what they want through the lens of what other people want for them, right? Or not even for them, what other people want from them. These expectations. Ooh, that word, expectations. External influence. How many people are living on other people's terms? I want you to be this or that way for me so that I benefit. It's not always that way, but oftentimes it is that way. And, it's really important to see that for what it is, because if you don't see it for what it is, you can get really confused. So, what would I need to change about myself to be more of myself for myself? I'm pretty sure that's actually the question. There we go. What do I need to change about myself to be more of myself for myself? Right? Not for your mother, not for your father, not for your teacher, not for your friends, not for anyone. For you. This is all about bringing back your own awareness to yourself, bringing back your energy to yourself, and doing and being for yourself. Right? Um, I actually just had a healing session. I mean, healing kind of happens, but it's also a conscious practice, right? And it's very interesting because, like, I grew up believing that healthy anger was unacceptable. So, therefore, I actually repressed my emotions, or suppressed, um, or both. And that led me to be a very nice guy. No boundaries. Not okay. Um, and so, like, you know, bringing your awareness back to yourself, bringing your energy back to yourself, all of that stuff entails doing for yourself and being for yourself, not for anybody else. If you want to attract the people in your life that are meant to be there, authenticity needs to be foundational. If you want to attract people that are going to take advantage of you, nice guy and people pleasing is what's necessary. Anyway, it's important to bring some light into this, because when I say light, I mean like kind of like humor and everything. Because like when you think about it, like that's really the reality of what's going on here. Like depending on the energy that you put out there, right? If you live by this idea that the world doesn't like you, there's a good chance that you're just going to approach people from that standpoint and ask first, what do I have to do to get that person to like me? What do I have to do to get that person to like me? Right? And instead, you're doing, what do I like? What do I want? What do I need? And then with that, you will attract the right people. But of course, you've got to ask yourself this from a standpoint of you and what you want, because it will not be beneficial any other way. And I'm sure that there are some people out there that have led you to believe that thinking about yourself first is selfish. Newsflash, it is not. It is absolutely necessary. In fact, it is vital, because if you don't think about yourself first, you're not going to do for yourself first. If you don't do for yourself first, you will not be fulfilled. If you are not fulfilled, you will not be happy. If you're not happy, you're going to just live a life of unhappiness, and you're going to wreak havoc in other people's lives. That's what unhappy people do. Unhappy make other people unhappy. Um, and that's really just the way that it is. So, what do I need to change about myself to be more to be more me for myself? Maybe saying no to people is necessary, right? Maybe you are a yes machine, a broken record of a yes machine on repeat. Yes, I can drive you there. Yes, I can drop everything just for you. Yes, I will allow you to violate my boundaries because I don't respect myself. No, of course not. Not okay. Not healthy, not beneficial for anyone, unacceptable. Period. There's no other way. So just, approaching things and looking at it from the standpoint of what does the self want. And watch how much your awareness will drift to, oh, but what will this other person think about it? What will my parents think about it? What will my friends think about it? What will my significant other think about it? I don't know, but what's most important is, what will the self think about it? What does the self want? What does the self want? Right? When you start with I just thought of, so there's an entrepreneur out there that I follow by the name of Simon Sinek. He wrote a book called Start With Why. And now I'm like referencing it. Start with the self. Yeah. A lot of people have a very hard time with this because they have been conditioned by start with everyone else first. Put everyone else first. If you really want to be truly unhappy in life, put everyone else before you. You could, do somewhat of a job of convincing yourself that it's the right thing to do and that you're actually somehow happy. I wouldn't believe it. I know what it's like. I've got the receipts. I know what it's like. I remember times when I would be just like so like in the flow of creating something, and then because it's hard for me to talk about this, not because of the logistics of everything, but because I'm trying not to. I'll make a fun time of it. There we go. So I remember when I was in the flow, in the deep state of the flow of creating, whether it was visual arts, whether it was a video, whether it was maybe like a short film, writing something, right? And then because at the time, low self-esteem on my end was involved, I got a message from someone. Hey, you want to hang out? Oh, yes, because I don't clearly see myself. I don't fully know who I am. I don't fully respect myself. So, because I've been taught that I am to put everyone else before myself, I will do whatever it is that you need me to, wherever you need me to drive you, wherever it is that you need me to pick you up from. Yeah, no. It's just, no. It's funny. Fortunately, I'm not in that space of awareness anymore. I think that it's important to bring humor to this because, it's healing, right? When you have the capacity to look back on your life and recognize how fucking ridiculously dysfunctional and absurd things were, that's where, serious growth happens. Like me, to look back when I was 22, yeah, I'm embarrassed. And, quite honestly, I feel like if people are not embarrassed with how their life was 10 years ago, did you really grow? It's not about whether or not you did something wrong. Maybe you still want the same thing. Maybe you were in a really great place 10 years ago and you're still in a great place, and that's okay. Maybe you want to grow. Maybe you're happy with where you are. Wonderful. But it's just so interesting to, you know, kind of like explore that. What I really appreciate here that I'm exploring in a really positive and productive way is this idea of neutrality, right? Think about it this way. I'll end it off with this because I think that this is very important to take into consideration. So, what I've experienced in regards to life, in regards to people, in regards to relationships in general, is that not only are people manipulative and controlling, but they also want you to be who you can be for them, right? And I just lost my train of thought. I'll get back to it. Did I really just lose my train of thought? Come on, dude. Basically, like, what you'll learn about people is that, oh, yeah, okay, neutrality, that's what it was. Neutrality. So many people will try to pull you out of yourself. They'll try to pull you out of being yourself. But that's really just a reflection of how they feel about themselves. They're not grounded with who they are. If they were, they wouldn't have the capacity to pull you out of yourself. I have experienced this in the past. I have receipts. So, what I really appreciate about this aspect of individuation is that it's not like, okay, how can you be more of a man? How can you be more masculine? You're too this, you're too much that, you're not enough this, you're not enough that, right? What I really appreciate about neutrality is that when you can come at it from the standpoint of, regardless of what these people are telling you that you need, because if you come from a place of lack, you can be sold on anything. What does the self want, right? Are you going after this because you've been told that you need it, or is it something that you actually want? If it's because you've been told you need it, second guess it. If it's something you actually want, make sure that it's something that you actually want, and if it is actually something that you want, then go after it. But that all comes from neutrality, right? And not people pulling you in all these different directions, right? Oh, Chris needs to be this, Chris needs to be that, Chris is too much of this, Chris is too little of that. No, that's all these different directions. And then you bring it all back to the center. And it changes the dynamic of everything. Or dynamics. Yeah. It's pretty wild.